is a question that has been on my mind lately, and one that people have asked from the beginning of time. People from all walks of life going through the motions but often wondering about life, death, love. By all means, I am lucky, but like many others, I've still felt boxed in and complacent. I think it's time for a change.
Well, it appears that everybody's ready.
We are going on an adventure, packing up the car and driving into the colorful world of New England, stopping at some amazing places along the way to chase something deeper, great memories, and even better food. Montage time. Also, I think you should know that on this road trip, I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend. She's still sleeping. I have to go wake her up and then we're gonna head out on the road. One way or another, I'm gonna remember this road trip for the rest of my life. Hopefully it's because she said yes. Hour into it, no big D. Only 12 more hours to go. I got that Starbucks double shot coffee, iced.
In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood.
We just made it to Vermont, the land of the maple syrup or something like that. Land of maple syrup. I could be completely making that up, I'm not sure. We're gonna look around the corner and there's gonna be like the world's biggest donut or something. Like I'm already blown away. First stop on our road trip is to an inn in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. We're already further north than I've ever been. Pictures online were cozy, but showing up in the middle of the night was kind of eerie. But then we checked in and the fun times hit us. I'm gonna level with you guys. I'm so excited for the White Mountains to ride this train tomorrow. Let's do it. Day one, we're gonna go ride the Cog Railway. The Cog Railway is one of the steepest train rides in the world and takes you 4,000 feet to the top of Mount Washington. It's been around since the 1890s and runs all year round, whether snow, rain, or shine. It's kind of an engineering marvel. With coffee injected into our veins, we were ready to ride, baby. The train took off at a slowish pace, but there was a lot of excitement from everyone taking in the immediate views. Our tour guide was firing off facts and jokes, and the entire experience was extremely wholesome, which I am a big sucker for. The sun was shining down on us, and we were often reminded of how lucky we were to have such amazing weather, since it's notoriously cloudy up on this mountain. We were also reminded of how high up we were, even the rails themselves, towering above the trees. As we approached the top, we could see part of the famous Appalachian Trail, which almost follows the entire East Coast. I remember thinking to myself that this is exactly what I needed to kick off this journey. I was feeling really content and happy with our decision to ride this train. We finally made it to the top, and let me just show you what our eyes beheld. It was like being on a different planet, while also looking down on our own. The rocky terrain was very alien, and how quiet it was made everything feel very surreal. Pretty unreal. If escaping our everyday anxieties is the goal, then I'd say we're off to a good start. We spent about an hour taking in the view and reflecting on life. But what goes up must come down. I'm not normally scared of heights, but taking the train down the mountain had me feeling uneasy to say the least. Thankfully, it went by quick and we were off to chase more adventure. Hunger was setting in, but we still wanted to go on another hike. Flash forward an hour. Now we are hiking the Crawford Path. We're gonna get these glutes working. We got everything working and the path was exhausting, but hey, at least it was beautiful. We even ended up stumbling upon this really dope waterfall by accident. You can't tell because of what I'm wearing, but it's like in the high 30s here today. So yeah, I can't imagine how cold that water would be. It's beautiful nonetheless. After a while, we headed out to try our hand at what the mountains had for food options. Ended up at a popular smokehouse called Moat Mountain. This guy has seen too much. The restaurant was gimmicky but cozy, and the food was pretty good. Dunked some hush puppies in maple syrup, and went in on some barbecue food. Exhausted, we went back to the inn to chill out. Day 1 came to an end, but even more excitement and life-changing events were just around the corner. See, Mount Washington is famous for multiple reasons, and there is more than one way to journey to the top. The strongest wind ever recorded happened to take place at the peak, and the auto road leading to the summit is world famous. Travis Pastrana holds the record for the fastest time to the top, but can I beat him? Let's find out. The race was on, and I was giving my 2016 Mazda 3 everything she could handle. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, it was like I took on a new persona. Already a quarter of the way up, I could feel that Travis and I were neck and neck. Unfortunately, Travis beat me by about 30 minutes, but it was still one of the most memorable feats I've ever accomplished. Also, driving made us hungry, so we decided to check out the cafe at the summit. I loaded up on clam chowder, which wasn't the best in the world, but I didn't mind. Wasn't the main goal of the drive by any means. We chilled out for a bit, and then we headed out into the unknown once again. It had already been 2 days, so it was time to say goodbye. Goodbye, White Mountains! And so we began our drive across the state of Maine to our campsite at Acadia National Park. We arrived at our campsite right before dusk, which was only about 10 minutes away from the legendary port town, Bar Harbor. As the nightfall set in, so did our hunger, so we hit up the Thirsty Well Tavern to acquire the holy grail of New England, a lobster roll. I was super excited to try it out. It was my first time, and though it was slightly awkward, I was a big fan. We then made our way back to the campsite and decided to look for crabs. There were so many, and it was eerie, but I loved watching them scurry around in the dark. Alright, bedtime. Day 3, rise and grind. I woke up to this amazing view, and an unexpected new friend. The weather was brisk, but perfect for reflecting and sipping on some warm coffee. Pretty cold. We're gonna hike something called the Beehive Loop Trail. It's beautiful so far. I can't wait to actually see the park. Let's do it. Driving into Acadia, we were immediately blown away by how well kept and beautiful it actually was. After a while, we found our way to a good place to park and to begin our hike, which ended up being the best one I've ever been on. We actually have to make it all the way up there. The path allows for some breathtaking views, and all the fall foliage in contrast with the ocean was straight out of a landscape calendar. We were having a blast and taking it all in, but then the challenging part of the hike caught up to us. The hike is known for its use of ladders and rails to maneuver, and it's exactly what we came here for. While not the most dangerous trail in the world, it certainly was an intense workout and kept us on our toes. Just look at how jagged all these rocks are as we traverse. I wanted this trip to make me feel alive, and buddy, I got my money's worth. It's ridiculous. I know. Ridiculous. Every time I thought I was about to get a break, I would round the corner and find a new obstacle for me to overcome. As I got closer and closer to the top, I was able to truly appreciate the journey. One last obstacle, and we made it to the top. The Beehive Loop Trail had been conquered. Even nature congratulated us, and we were welcomed by our seagull friend as we got a chance to relax and dive into a couple sandwiches. With this moment of quiet, I began to realize that maybe the time had finally arrived for me to ask Sylvia to marry me. We made our way to the beach at the edge of the park, and I could feel the anxiety and excitement kicking in. Don't get me wrong, the beach was really beautiful, but my mind was elsewhere. I convinced Sylvia that we should head to Cadillac Mountain for the evening. It had been a long day full of adventure, but one of the biggest moments of my life was on the horizon as I took the winding road up the world-famous mountain. Panoramic views of the Atlantic Ocean in Acadia, this place was gorgeous. We made our way around the mountaintop until I found a good place where we could be alone. It was now or never. I pretended we were going to take a scenic photo of us using my tripod, and she fell for it.
Make sure it's still doing that.
Oh my god, crazy.
She said, yes, we got it done, guys. We got it done. We were planning on staying up here on Cadillac Mountain until the sunset, but we're starving. So we're probably gonna go hit up a place called Side Street Cafe and maybe get another lobster roll or something similar. I'm jacked to the tits, so you know, I might buy a round for everyone in the entire place. Who knows?
Let's go! Immense joy flowing through my body, an incredible feeling as I started going in on some pumpkin martinis, clam chowder, and some glazed up fries. The Side Street Cafe is often regarded as one of the best restaurants in the area, and the real hype is behind their lobster roll. Cold lobster meat infused with mayo and lemon juice. So incredibly flavorful and savory, and to make it even better, the warm, soft, buttery buns make your taste buds feel so cozy and respected. I highly recommend if you're in the area. That's a wrap. On to day 4.
Ma'am, would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Is he gonna take me out of here?
Another beautiful morning. We woke up to like 32-degree weather out here. This is my first experience camping in such cold weather, and it is quite the experience. Sylvia is having a tough time with it, but being the badass that I am, you know, I'm adapting. Going to the famous Jordan Pond House restaurant. We had to park pretty far away. We're just walking through the park till we get there.
Known for their popovers, this restaurant is incredible.
She can't do it. Can't hold the pinky out.
The entire atmosphere was so relaxing, and the popovers were perfectly flaky and fulfilling. Also, possibly the best clam chowder I've ever had the privilege of trying. After eating, we noticed some action brewing nearby, so we went to investigate. It ended up being a baby porcupine, just hanging out in the field nearby. I had never seen a porcupine in my life, and certainly not a baby one. No idea where the mother was, but I loved watching it waddle about. Super cute. It eventually made its way back into the forest once it had its fill. So we continued on with our day, looking to take a hike around Jordan Pond. And let me just say, it's one of the most scenic places I've ever been, and a great place to reflect on life.
Everything in life feels very fun. And I love it so much that I longer don't know why even.
The trip was halfway over, and so much had already changed in my life. I wanted to break free, and at this point, I'm starting to feel a great sense of escapism.
But it's like I know, might just meet some guy and cry.
But there's still a lot to experience, so I'm looking forward to what the rest of the trip has to offer my mind. On the hike, we saw a good bit of wildlife and larger birds. We happened to be there during loon nesting season and even got to see a loon egg chilling on the ground. The sun was giving us so much energy and we had some fun.
You can make it look like a drone's basically flying all around you.
Yep.
And if you can do all really quick creative shots.
Insta 360.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture of it if you don't mind.
Yeah, no.
Because I won't remember.
Yep.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
As the day started winding down, we made our way back to the campsite to get ready for dinner, but I also couldn't let this crystal clear water go to waste.
Salty. It is so salty.
It was freezing and refreshing, but now off to dinner. I often say food is one of the most powerful ingredients when it comes to nostalgia, and looking over what we got to eat definitely brings me back. Sipping on some cocktails and trying out the seafood pasta, which was pretty good. Bar Harbor didn't have the most diversity when it came to cuisine, but obviously they did seafood meals very well. Of course I say that, and Sylvia got a cheeseburger, but not everyone can be super cool and cultured like me. We also got a piece of Blue Rave cobbler, which I found out is something Maine is known for. After dinner, we found a local confectionery shop to peruse the fudge, since I love the stuff, and then we headed out into the night back to our campsite to call it a day. Good morning on day number 5. We were getting used to the cold mornings, and so were the birds apparently, so we decided we would chill out for a bit and cook a nice breakfast over the campfire. You really can't go wrong with a combination of steak, eggs, and roasted potatoes. And there you have it. Breakfast was great, and we were ready to start the day. Our campground had kayaks for rent, and we weren't about to let this go to waste. We also ended up being right next to the perfect place to journey out from. The sun was out, and we were feeling very optimistic about life. Hard not to be when you're on a kayak after all. I could definitely take a nap. Look at this dork out here. I cannot believe I'm gonna marry that. To keep the fun times rolling, we ended up at a popular place called Getty's for dinner. A really good seafood restaurant with a relaxed atmosphere that was perfect after a long day of kayaking. As you can tell, Sylvia was feeling it and was satisfied with her sandwich of choice, but my meal absolutely dunked on hers. I got this incredible seafood bake filled with crab meat, spices, cheese, and potentially the secret to immortality. It also came with rice and veggies. This was our last evening in Bar Harbor, a special place that felt like time slowed down when you were there. At the end of the day, a quest for a true meaning in life might be foolish. But places like this reminded me that the world can be filled with fulfillment if you're willing to look for it. You don't have to be part of some large city atmosphere to feel like your life is important. Being content might not come from where you are, and maybe not where you're going either. Final night here in Acadia. Obviously this place will be very sentimental and memorable for the rest of our lives due to what's happened here. But tomorrow we are on to Portland. Portland, Maine, what a beautiful coastal city.
The trip was on the last leg, but as we pulled up to our hotel, the excitement hit us once again. Obviously the hotel room is pretty nice, so we're pretty excited about that. We're gonna be here for a couple days. Our hotel was right in the middle of downtown, so even though it was raining out, we could still walk to a lot of great places to eat and hang out. We decided to give the sushi restaurant a go, called Yosaku. They had the traditional Japanese seating, which is a new experience for me, and I liked it. And if you know me, you know I like to get the gyoza dumplings, as well as a few other sushi rolls. It was all really good, and it came in clutch since we were starving after the long drive. We were settling in and we decided to check out our hotel bar since it actually looked pretty snazzy. The bar itself was nice, but what got our socks all ruffled up was this incredible view. Not a bad place to work or eat. I would definitely be trying to get some outdoor seating if possible. We tried some cocktails and then we headed out once again. This time we found a small pub with a more relaxed scene, but the night wasn't over quite yet, and we still had excitement for being in a new city. Karaoke is always a good time, so shout out to these lads for giving it their all. Alright, on to the next day. We woke up early so we could hit the hyped up breakfast spot called Becky's, and it didn't disappoint. The food was of the diner variety and basic, which was a good thing. The atmosphere was cozy, and it was some good fuel for our day of walking around. We hopped into this small shop to get some caviar because why not? I was a complete amateur walking in. I had never tried it before, so the guy behind the counter was teaching me all of his ancient knowledge, while Sylvia was mesmerized by all the different variety of seafood.
Sure, I'll take some.
I don't know if caviar lives up to the hype, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. The weather was incredible once again, so off we went exploring the city.
Oh yeah.
Our only goal for the day was to eat lunch at Eventide. Without a doubt, the best restaurant I went to on this entire trip. They are known for their incredible warm brown butter lobster rolls and fresh oysters, so I went in on both, naturally. I was an oyster virgin, so I couldn't have asked for a better place for my first time. All the different flavored ice kept my taste buds on their toes, and as I'm writing this script, I'm finding it very sad that knowing that I may never get to go to this place again.
It's actually really good. Now I understand the hype now.
Oh, and the lobster roll was incredible. Portland was already living up to the hype, and so time seemed to be flying by. For how big it is, it felt very welcoming, but the road trip was winding down. Yeah, the road trip's almost over. Last dinner, some final lobster here in Portland, Maine, and in the morning we're going to get back in the car, head down the coastline, back towards Pittsburgh. Let's get to dinner. For our last dinner here, we wanted to get some classic seafood in our life, so we went out with a bang. That bib on. But the night went too fast. It was already day 8 and time for us to return home, but first we got in line for some famous donuts that are made out of potatoes. They are very unique in flavor and people swear by them. I will say the texture is worth the hype. I'm just a big donut guy in general, so maybe I was a little biased, but either way, it was a good way for Portland to send us off. This trip was meant to be about being spontaneous, and as we drove down the coastline, we kept seeing signs for Salem, Massachusetts. We have both always wanted to check it out, and what better time than early fall as people started getting into the Halloween spirit. I mean, just look at how creepy the statue is right in the town center. This place embraces Halloween, the unknown, and tourists. As a tourist myself though, I really couldn't complain. Everywhere we looked, there was some sort of mini attraction to snap photos of and to stay in the festive mood. From tarot cards to novelty items, this place had it all. I love candy so much, so imagine my excitement when I see a line forming outside leading into a famous candy shop down the street. Was there anything better as a kid than making it home after trick-or-treating and finding out what kind of haul you got, and then, trading back and forth with your siblings? The amount of nostalgia I got from this place warmed my heart, and all the chocolate behind the counter had the place smelling heavenly. Salem didn't just have great sweets though. We ended up finding a great place for some high quality pizza that kind of blew our minds a little bit. What can I say, the crust was elite. I feel like I'm always feeling my best after pizza. And eventually, we made a new friend. Let me introduce you to Kevin. Kevin likes long hikes on the beach and sucking the blood of the innocent. This haunted house of monsters is one of the best purchases I made on the trip. In fact, Universal monsters are underrated in general, and there's just something so wholesome about being scared in this way.
That's so cool.
Oh no.
The house was a short experience, but props to whoever put it together, pun intended. When we started this journey heading into the White Mountains, I had no idea we'd end up in a place like this, which is exactly how I wanted it to go. The trip was coming to an end, and we just needed to drive the rest of the way down the coast and back towards Pittsburgh. When I decided to make this film, I had no idea what it would look like in the end, but I did have some goals in mind: to find some additional meaning in life, get engaged, eat great food, embrace new experiences, and to feel alive. At the end of the day, we're just cosmic dust, clinging to a rock hurtling through space. Oftentimes, the only meaning we can really identify is the meaning we give ourselves. But just look how beautiful this world is. Whether you're working a 9-to-5 in a cubicle, working long hours at a construction job you don't enjoy, there's magic in life going on all around us. You don't have to embark on a journey of self-discovery or even go on a road trip to learn that. Sometimes you just really need to think about the present and appreciate the breath of air you just took.
Only 2 hours ago before we're home. We're so excited to be home.
So what is the meaning of life? We'll probably never know. But one thing I am certain of, it feels pretty damn great spending it with the ones you love.